Hello and welcome. This is Claudia Sky. And in this video today, I'm going to share something that a technique that I've been using for almost 20 years taught me after using it for almost 20 years. And that has to do with your truth and the relationship between your truth and your power. So the technique I'm referring to is called kinesiology or muscle testing. You might have experienced it or heard of it. If not, it's, for example, imagine you're in an office with a practitioner, maybe an acupuncturist, and they are testing a supplement to see if that is harmful or beneficial for you outside of what is known about it, to see if it's a really good match for you. And they might have you stretch out your arm while you hold the supplement in one hand, and then they test by pushing down on your forearm to see if your body is staying strong. That means this is supportive. If your body goes really weak, that means it's not healthy for you. And so I've been using this for a long time. And after being extremely skeptical in the beginning, coming from the world of Western medicine, very quickly learned the enormous capacity of this technique if you're really neutral as the tester. And I would get a lot of skeptics because of my background that would be like, well, maybe this stuff can work. So if she's doing it, I'll try her. That seems to be was the pattern in the beginning of my more medical practice. And I would often start out by having them say their name while I muscle tested them. And so they would stretch out their arm. They would say, my name is John. Their arm would be very strong. And then I would have them say a different name. My name is Max. And it didn't matter how strong that person was, their arm would almost fall down with minimal pressure on my end. And so I knew this was a yes and this was a no for the rest of whatever I was really interested in testing. And I was always really impressed by how solid this was, meaning like every single person had the same response. And I knew I was working with the innate intelligence of the body. But it took me until more recently to realize what I was seeing. Because what I was seeing was that if I introduced a lie, if I had that person say something that wasn't true, their body lost their power. The body was going weak. And I know that's not just true for saying the name, because once I started working more with mindset and emotional states of being, I used this in so many ways. For example, if somebody was looking to create something, an experience they had, for example, in romantic relationships or in their work, in their career, and they wanted to work toward owning a certain affirmation, meaning this was simply not true for them. So then once it's true inside, right, the reality will mirror that back to them. I could see if that person was solid on that affirmation or not. So if they said, I feel safe opening up to a new partner, and I would test their arm and their arm would go down, we knew that that person wasn't embodying that truth yet, because I was introducing something that wasn't true. And the importance here is that our body responds to our thoughts and our words with its aliveness, with its strength. Because what happens when that arm goes down, the whole system is literally shutting down because we're introducing something that's incoherent. It's out of integrity. And our whole being says no to that. So sit with that for a moment. Really consider what this means. Because when I recognize it, I could see it play out in so many ways. And just imagine that somebody has a 9 to 5 that they're not in love with, and they're doing this only to support their family. They feel like that's all that's going for them, but they're checking their soul at the gate. They're maybe it's even a company that does something that they know is not for the greater and higher good, but they do it anyways. They live with that lie. It weakens their system. Every single time we give our power, our truth, the alignment with our core values, with what we innately know is true and so, when we override that inner knowing with an action or a word or something, even a thought, because you can do that silently where the person doesn't speak, it's the same. That scrambles their system, it weakens them. They have no strength, and maintained over time, living that lie creates disharmony that will manifest in some way, shape, or form in their physical body and in their life. I really feel that is something so important to take in. And there is zero shaming or blaming going on here or judgment. This is simply something I'm grateful I began to see, because it's kind of clear when we pay attention anyways, but to see that the immediacy with which the body responds to us introducing something that is out of alignment really brings it home. What would our life be if we were true to ourselves? Do we know ourselves? Can we speak our truth when we don't know it? So it opens a bigger question. Who are we? Personal journey. And the reason for me making this video is because I believe that we are merely scratching the surface of our human potential, and that there is so much potential and power and grace and beauty and all this inside of us. And our truth is directly linked to us being able to harness and use that power. And maybe it's as simple as asking the question, which is not a simple answer, and it's an individual answer, but who am I? What is my inner truth if I don't know it? How can I know my inner truth? Usually we know our inner truth. It reveals itself through a physical experience as well. If there's something true, it strikes that chord. You know that feeling. Sometimes it's not as clear, but it's relevant. It's relevant to know our truth. It's relevant to live in accordance with our truth, because our body and our life will reflect the level of integrity back to us. This has a lot to do with being authentic. There's a lot of power in being authentic, because when you're authentic, all your energy centers are speaking the same message. That's why that has an effect. If we come into the truth of our being, we walk our talk. There's this integrity and coherence in our system is one signal of who we are. And in that clarity, we are met with an equal response. When we signal incoherence, if our words and our actions and our thoughts are all saying something different, life is different. It is reflecting that incoherence. It's reflecting that inner struggle. And I know it's no small thing to know who we are and to live in that integrity. And there are tests that we will undergo where life asks us, are you sure? Can you stand in that? How about now? And I think it's all worth it. And I talk a lot about this hero's journey and the shadow work and the inner alchemy in most of my videos. This is just another angle to the same thing. If we trust into the depth and beauty and strength of our being, and we are curious about calling that forth, that intention alone goes a long way. Then it's just making time to hear and receive the answers and the signals life will surely give us, and staying on the journey when things get challenging. My thoughts for the day, my food of thought for the day. Let me know how that rings with you. I would love to hear.